From a family dynasty of Hollywood legends to carving out his own legacy in music, stage, and screen, Keith Carradine's life has been a fascinating journey. Whether you know him as the charming folk singer from Nashville, the wandering gunslinger in Deadwood, or the seasoned patriarch in today's dramas, his story is one of resilience, artistry, and evolution. Today, we dive deep into the life and career of Keith Carradine, then versus now. Keith Ian Carradine was born on August 8, 1949, in San Mateo, California, into one of Hollywood's most storied acting families. His father, John Carradine, was a legendary character actor who appeared in over 200 films. His brothers, David, Robert, and Bruce Carradine, also pursued careers in film and television. Growing up in this household meant Keith was surrounded by creativity, but also by chaos. His parents divorced when he was young, and Keith was raised primarily by his mother. The pull of Hollywood was always there, though Keith initially considered other paths before acting inevitably became his calling. Unlike some children of Hollywood, Keith did not immediately jump into stardom. He studied drama at Colorado State University before being drawn back to Los Angeles. His big break came on Broadway when he was cast in the original production of Hair in 1969. This not only gave him exposure but also established him as a performer with range, blending music and acting. His early film career took off when he appeared in McCabe and Mrs. Miller, 1971, directed by Robert Altman. This marked the beginning of a long association with Altman, who later gave Carradine one of his most iconic roles. In 1975, Robert Altman cast Keith in Nashville, a groundbreaking ensemble film exploring country music and American society. Keith played Tom Frank, a womanizing folk singer. But it wasn't just his acting that made waves, it was his music. Carradine wrote and performed the tender ballad I'm Easy, which went on to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Suddenly, Keith was not just an actor, but also an Oscar-winning songwriter. This moment solidified his identity as more than just another Hollywood family member. He was a multi-talented star. Following Nashville, Keith Carradine built a steady career in both film and television. Some of his key projects included Pretty Baby, 1978, with Brooke Shields; The Duelists, 1977, directed by Ridley Scott, where he starred opposite Harvey Keitel in a visually stunning Napoleonic-era drama; Southern Comfort, 1981, a tense thriller about survival in the Louisiana bayous; The Long Riders, 1980, a western that famously cast the Carradine brothers alongside the Quaids and the Keaches, highlighting Hollywood dynasties on screen. Keith's natural, understated charisma made him a favorite for roles that required sensitivity mixed with strength. Unlike some actors typecast into one role, Keith Carradine kept his career alive by adapting. He moved between independent films, television guest spots, and even Broadway. On stage, he starred in musicals and plays, earning a Tony Award nomination for his role in the Will Rogers Follies. His ability to sing, act, and command a stage made him a rare triple threat. By the late 80s and early 90s, Keith was a familiar face on television, appearing in Murder, She Wrote, The Twilight Zone, and made-for-TV movies. A new generation of viewers discovered Keith Carradine in the HBO series Deadwood, 2004 to 2006. He played Wild Bill Hickok, the legendary gunslinger of the Old West. Though his run was brief, given Hickok's fate in history, Keith's performance was so memorable that it remains one of the highlights of his career. His weary, soulful take on the character resonated with audiences and critics alike. From there, he continued to thrive on television with roles in Dexter, as FBI agent Frank Lundy; Madam Secretary, as President Conrad Dalton; Fargo, Season 1; Mindhunter, as Frank Lundy again in Archival Connections. Keith Carradine had successfully reinvented himself for modern television while keeping his classical gravitas. Keith Carradine's personal life was as complex as his professional one. He has a daughter, Martha Plimpton, with actress Shelley Plimpton, his co-star in Hair. Martha went on to become a respected actress herself, continuing the family's legacy. Keith later married Sandra Will, with whom he had 2 children, before eventually marrying actress Haley DeMond in 2006. Music never left his life. Throughout the years, Keith continued to record and perform, proving that his Oscar-winning I'm Easy was not a one-time success. Today, Keith Carradine is in his 70s, but he continues to work regularly. He has become a respected elder statesman of Hollywood, beloved by both fans of classic films and new audiences who encounter him in modern shows. He often reflects on his family's legacy, acknowledging both the opportunities and the burdens of being a Carradine. Unlike his late brother David, who had a more turbulent life, Keith maintained steadiness, humility, and longevity in his career. In interviews, he has spoken about gratitude for being able to balance acting, singing, and family. Keith Carradine's career is remarkable for its endurance. He is not just the son of John Carradine or the brother of David Carradine. He is his own man, with an Oscar, Tony nomination, and decades of memorable performances across stage, film, and television. His legacy is that of a survivor, a man who found ways to reinvent himself, move with the times, and leave his mark on every era of Hollywood he touched. From Broadway's Free Spirit in Hair, to an Oscar-winning songwriter in Nashville, to a rugged gunslinger in Deadwood, and finally, a respected elder statesman of Hollywood, Keith Carradine's story is the definition of then versus now. His journey proves that talent, adaptability, and heart are what truly define a lasting career.